Good morning and welcome once again. Let's continue with the second part of the mystical story, The Ashes That Made the Trees Blue, written by William Elliot Griffiths. In the previous session, we have read about the kind old couple and their pet Moko, who once traced a treasure underneath the field. We even saw how brutally the innocent dumb creature was killed at the hands of the wicked greedy couple. And later the dog appears in the dream of his master and makes him rich once again. Now let's continue with the story. Okay, before that, let me see how many of you remember the Japanese word that we learned in the previous video. Yes, anybody? Yes, correct. It's O Tento Sama, which means sun. So now let's see what happens. The wicked couple chopped the mortar and sawmill and used it as firewood. Now let's turn the pages and find out what lies for the good and the wicked couple. Second part. Not long after that, the good old man dreamed again, and the spirit of the dog spoke to him, telling him how the wicked people had burned the mill made from the pine tree. So soon after these people burned the mill into ashes, turned it into ashes. The dog appeared into the dream of the old man again, and it told the whole incident, how the old couple, the wicked couple, chopped the wood and burned it. Take the ashes of the mill, sprinkle them on the withered trees, and they will bloom again, said the dog spirit. And this time the dog spirit said to him, you take the ashes of the mill and you just sprinkle it on the withered trees. Withered means bare and bright trees. And they will bloom again. Now what is bloom? Bloom is flower or bunch of flowers on the tree. They will bloom again, said the dog spirit. The old man awoke and went at once to his wicked neighbor's house, where he found the miserable old pair sitting at the edge of the square fireplace in the middle of the floor, smoking and spinning. Immediately he awoke, he got up from his bed and went to his neighbor's house. And he saw them sitting near their fireplace. Now, what is a fireplace? It's the area made to burn the wood to get warmth or heat during the winter. They were sitting, as you know, it was New Year time, and New Year always falls during the winter season. So this couple were sitting in front of the fireplace and getting heat, warmth from it. They were sitting and smoking and spinning. From time to time, they warmed their hands and feet with a blaze from some bits of the mill, while behind them lay a pile of the broken pieces. So from time to time they were warming. They were warming their hands and feet with a fire, with a blaze, that warmth that was coming out of the fire. And this fire was done with the bits of the mill, with the wood that was chopped, broken, while behind them lay a pile of the broken pieces of mill and the mortar. The good old man humbly asked for the ashes. This man, being generous, he did not confront the wicked couple for what they have done, for chopping down the mill and mortar. He did not confront them. Instead, he humbly asked for the ashes. Though the covetous couple turned up their noses at him and scolded him as if he were a thief, they let him fill his basket with the ashes. In turn, what did the covetous couple, the greedy couple did? They turned up their noses, means they treated him with contempt. And what is contempt? Contempt means anything or any person that is worthless or beneath consideration. So they treated him with contempt and they scolded him that he has come to take something from their house. And but they allowed the old man to fill his basket with the ashes. On coming home, the old man took his wife into the garden. It being winter, their favorite cherry tree was bare. As you all know, during winter season, the trees do not blossom. You will hardly find any flowers on the trees. So, their favorite cherry tree was also bare. He took his wife to the garden and went to their favorite cherry tree. He sprinkled a pinch of ash on it, and lo, it sprouted blossoms until it became a cloud of pink blossoms which perfumed the air. The news of this filled the village, and everyone ran out to see the wonder. So he took a pinch of ash from his basket and he sprinkled on the bare tree. And immediately, to their surprise, the tree sprouted into blossoms and it totally covered with flowers, just like a cloud. And the fragrance of the flower filled the atmosphere. And this news very quickly spread in the village, and everyone was rushing to their house to see this wonders, to see this miracle. That how come the tree blossomed in this winter season? How can ash turn the tree to blossom? So, to see this marvelous sight, the whole villagers ran towards their house. You can see the tree here with lots of flowers. The covetous couple also heard the story, and gathering up the remaining ashes of the mill, kept them to make withered trees blossom. So this covetous couple also heard about this story. So they gathered the remaining ashes, the leftover ashes of the mill, and they kept it in stock for the future use, so that they can also use this ash to blossom the withered trees. The kind old man, hearing that his lord, the daimyo, was to pass along the high road near the village. So this came to his information, to the information of the kind old man, that the daimyo, the landlord, was about to pass the high road near their village. Set out to see him, taking his basket of ashes. So, getting the information that the daimyo will be coming, he went out to see the daimyo with basket that was filled with ashes. As the train approached, now what is this train? The procession, procession in which the people march in proper line is called train. As the train approached, he climbed up into an old withered cherry tree that stood by the wayside. Seeing the train coming, the procession coming, he climbed on a tree which was withered, and it was a cherry tree, and that stood underway by the wayside, under which the procession would be passing. Now, in the days of the daimias, it was a custom when the Lord passed by for all the loyal people to shut up their high windows. So during those days in the 19th century, whenever the daimias would pass through the village, it was compulsory for all the loyal people to keep their doors and windows closed. Just to show their respect, they are not supposed to look at the procession, or they are not supposed to cross the way of the train where from which they are coming. If they are on the road, there are some customs that they have to follow, that we'll see just now. So all the people would shut their windows. They even pasted them fast with a slip of paper so as to commit, so as not to commit the impertinence of looking down on his lordship. What is impertinence? Impertinence means lack of respect. Lack of respect. They even would seal the windows with a paper so that there is not even a gap for them to look outside at the train or at the daimyo, so that not to commit the impertinence, not to show any kind of lack of respect. All the people along the road would fall upon their hands and knees and remain prostrate until the procession passed by. So you can see the people sitting on the ground this way, on their knees and hands on the ground. They are supposed to kneel down, put their hands down, and head towards the ground so that they do not catch the view of the train or the Lord. So, this was a custom that was followed during the 19th century in Japan whenever the landlord would pass their village. The train drew near. One tall, competent man marched ahead, crying out to the people by the way, get down on your knees, get down on your knees. So the train was always led by one tall and competent man who would lead the procession. And he would cry out loudly to the people on the road, get down on your knees. He meant them to sit in the prostrate position. As you can see here, these people are sitting in the prostrate position. And everyone kneeled down while the procession was passing. Suddenly, the leader of the van caught sight of the aged man up in the tree. And all of a sudden, what happened? The leader, the one who was leading the procession, he caught hold of the sight of the man, one old man sitting up in the tree. He was about to call out to him in an angry tone. He was just about to shout at him that what this man is doing, he is breaking the protocol, he is breaking the law, he is supposed to be on the ground prostrate, he is not supposed to see the daimyo, but he is sitting on the top of the tree. But seeing he was such an old fellow, he pretended not to notice him and passed him by. So, seeing that he was such an old poor fellow, he did not wanted to punish him for anything. So, he just avoided. He pretended as if he did not see him and he just passed by. So, when the daimyo's palanquin drew near, the old man, taking a pinch of ashes from his basket, scattered it over the tree. In a moment, it burst into blossom. So, what happened as the palanquin? Now, what is palanquin? You can see this is palanquin. This is the cabinet in which the daimyo and his wife would sit, and this was carried by their men who were in procession. Okay, in Hindi it is called palki. So, as the palanquin was drawing closer to the tree, this old man just picked up a pinch of ash from his basket and threw it on the withered tree. In a moment, it burst into blossom. In fraction of seconds, the whole tree was covered with blossom. The delighted daimyo ordered the train to be stopped and got out to see the wonder. Now the daimyo, seeing this wonderful sight, he was delighted, he was happy, and he ordered the train to be stopped. He stopped the whole procession. And he came out of his palanquin to see this wonderful sight. Calling the old man to him, he thanked him and ordered presents of silk robes, sponge cake, fans, and other rewards to be given him. Now, being so happy, so thrilled with the sight, he called the old man close to him. He thanked him for what he has done for them, for showing their respect this way, creating a beautiful scene for him. Then he said that presents should be given to him, and in the form of silk robes, sponge cake, fans, and other things. He even invited him to his castle, and this was the highest respect he could get. This old man was even invited by the landlord, daimyo, to his castle so that he can come and visit the daimyo. So the old man went gleefully home to share his joy with his dear old wife. So this old man was very happy and he went home very happily to share this wonderful news with his old wife. But when the greedy neighbor heard of it, he took some of the magic ashes and went out on the highway. So soon, even this news was spread in the village, and this covetous, this greedy old man also heard of this magic. So what he thought, he will also do this way for for another procession, another train that would be coming through his village, and he will also gain the respect of the landlord daimyo, and he will also get lots of presents. Keeping this thing in his mind, he also went out with magic ash in his basket on the highway. There he waited until a daimyo train came along, and instead of kneeling down like the crowd, he climbed a withered cherry tree. So he waited until the next procession came. When the procession was approaching towards them, what he did, he climbed. He climbed a withered cherry tree instead of kneeling down like other people. When the daimyo himself was almost directly under him, he threw a handful of ashes over the tree, which did not change a particle. So, when the daimyo was almost under the tree, directly under the tree, what he did, he took a handful of ashes and he just threw it over the tree. And this did not make any change. This did not make a particle change. Not even a minute change was there. The wind blew the fine dust in the noses and eyes of the daimyo and his wife. And what happened with the wind? This fine dust was blown into the nose and eyes of the daimyo and his wife. And when dust enters our nose, what happens? We start sneezing, right? Such sneezing and choking Such sneezing and choking, it spoiled all the pomp and dignity of the procession. With this choking and sneezing and dust all over, the whole show of the procession got spoiled, got ruined. The whole dignity was ruined. The man whose business it was to cry, "Get down on your knees." You can see the man who orders, "Get down to your knees," is the strongest man, tall and competent. What he did, he seized the old fool by the collar, dragged him from the tree, and tumbled him and his ash basket into the ditch by the road. So what he did, he got hold of the old man. He just pulled that old man down the tree, putting him into the ditch close by with his ash basket. Okay. Then, beating him soundly, he left him for dead. And then he beat him badly, soundly, he hit him very much, and he left him there to die. Thus the wicked old man died in the mud. What happened? What was the end of this wicked old man? He died. He died only out of his greed. He was dead. But the kind friend of the dog dwelt in peace and plenty. But the other couple, the generous couple, they lived in peace and plenty. Means they had peace and they had plentiful of things for their satisfaction. And both he and his wife lived to a green old age. Now what does this green old age means? Healthy, active and prosperous old age. They lived happily for a longer time. The author, William Elliot Griffiths. and it's a Japanese tale. So children, what moral do you get from the chapter Ashes That Made Trees Bloom? Let me tell you. People are known by their deeds, just as trees is known by its fruits and leaves. People and animals will all be good to us if we are kind to them, if we treat them well. But being mean and wicked usually make us less happy. If you do good, you get good. God bless you with the virtue of kindness and generosity. Thank you.